This button here you will use quite a bit, I'd imagine. It's your depth, so to zoom right in, okay, get that really superficial structure, or zoom out for the deeper structures. With a linear probe like this, you'll probably only get useful depth at about 8, maybe 10 centimeters, depending on the patient. For all the deeper structures, you'd then go and use your convex probe. If you press the middle of that depth button, it'll bring up a zoom box that you can move around and, you know, zoom right in on a particular area of interest. So that's zoom and depth. Right underneath is the snowflake, which you've probably already figured out freezes the image. Once the image is frozen, you can then use your trackball to slide back through the frames. Say, for example, if you want to pick up something that you think you might have missed, or you want to get a particular part of the last section of images, you use your trackball. So the VINNO units will continuously store temporary images in its memory. Once you've gotten out of the freeze, it automatically erases them. So down the bottom here, you'll be able to see how many frames it's saving out of how many frames it's potentially going to save. So freeze it, and I'll be able to track back through. It's telling me we've got 351 frames on the temporary memory. If I want to, I can, now that it's frozen, save a still image using any of these buttons here. So this button here is going to save it to my hard drive, this button here is going to save it to my USB, and this button here could potentially export it to a printer, or you could have that button programmed to do saving to a different format, either on the hard drive or on the USB, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So there are our save options. So when the image is frozen, you'll always get a still image. When the image is, say here we press on the touchscreen the Cine Loop, so we've got a video going. Actually, we'll do it this way. So I'm imaging in real time, and I hit the save. Now it's going to save a video for me, and I can tell it's a video because it's got this little play button down the bottom of the icon there. Last two buttons on the keyboard, split screen, left active, right active. So that's good for, say, a contracted and relaxed, or a before and after, or a left versus a right. So lots of functions you can use that for. So that's the hard keys on the keyboard. If we have a look at the touchscreen now, when you turn on your unit, this is what it's going to appear like. You have a couple of different options up here. Most of them you won't use, except I really like the full screen. Hit full screen, you get a much bigger image on your screen here. So I've done full screen, I've just zoomed us in a little bit. Here's all your presets. I really would trust the presets when you're getting started. So for example, if you want to have a look at a vein, you hit your vein preset, and it's going to come up with a different imaging appearance altogether. If you want to do your MSK, you hit your musculoskeletal preset. Okay, I've actually just been mucking around with this, so it looks a little bit funny. It's upside down and back to front, and it's got a center line, but that's your musculoskeletal preset. Down the bottom here, you've got your frequency. Higher the frequency, the more clear the image should be, but the less penetration you should get as well. Focus position, which is your little yellow arrow here, can be changed up and down on the touchscreen. Now there's two more menus on the touchscreen for image optimization. They're both accessible if you slide to the left. You've got a whole bunch of different features here. I actually don't like to change any of them because I think that the presets are quite good. But have a play with them, see what they do. You've got speckle reduction, you've got different grey filters, you've got different focus numbers. Typically you'll find if you add something, you're going to take something else away. So for example, if you have more line density, you might get a slower frame rate. So you might find that the picture's lagging a little bit. One more menu here. You can do a biopsy line, you've got edge enhancements, you can change your focus width, you've got a smoothing algorithm, you've got a 4-screen option. But yeah, as I say, for the most part, it's designed to be a simple unit to use. So if you know that they're there and you know a little bit about what they do, sometimes they may come in handy. For the most part, you're going to find that your normal presets are going to give you the best quality image. Okay, coming back, if you slide all the way back to the beginning, or you slide across to the left one more time, you're going to have all of these things here where you can enter a new patient, you can do a body mark, you can access your archive of all your saved images, and that's a good way to export things to USB or to wherever it might be. You can put a comment up on your screen, so let's hit comment because we can do that in real time. So with your comments, you can either, you've got two ways of doing it. You can either touch your screen and that'll bring up a keyboard if you just hold there for a moment, and you can enter whatever comment you wanted to enter. Press enter. Now if you want to save that, you hit save and that'll be in the patient archive. If you've made a mistake, you can hit delete and then touch on your comment there, or you can hit delete all. You can also pre-program any common thing that you usually put in there. Say for example, we've got LT left here, so I'm going to grab that and just drag it across and it's going to end up on my screen. So delete all, exit. Okay, so that's comments. End exam, you can bring up a report. You can hit system settings to bring up all your settings where you can enter your hospital information, you know, how you like the images to be saved, what you want these keys to do. You've got a lot of options, storing AVI or image, you know, storing a JPEG. You can really change that depending on what you want to do with your pictures and your videos once you've saved them. Exit from there. So to get to that menu that we're looking at again, it's just a slide to the right. So it's comments, end exam, report, system settings we just looked at. Probe and application is where you can save your preset probe. So if you like a musculoskeletal exam and you like harmonic imaging on, which I believe yours is saved as, you can either go save as default, you can rename it, a whole bunch of different options there. You can reset it to the factory settings there as well. So that's the real basics of the unit. As I say, there shouldn't be too much required apart from potentially changing the depth when you first start imaging, and maybe just changing the frequency and the focus position as well. If you've got those couple of things, then your normal B mode imaging should be really good. The only things that you might need to play around with a little bit more are your colour flow and power flow Doppler.